What is going on, guys? It is Big Mike here, and we are back today with another SlowBroz podcast. And I'm here with my co-host Nick. How you doing, Nick?
I'm doing good, Mike. How about yourself?
I'm doing pretty great, and I'm excited to have on another special guest. We have the man himself, ZombaLive. How's it going, Zomba?
Dude, when you do the intro like that, you're making me blush. Like, but yeah, I'm good, thanks.
What else can I say about the man with the 233 on Ascension, at least like 10,000 hours on that map in the last like 2 days? But yeah,
Just yesterday.
but yeah, man. We're gonna
Hmm.
start this out with a little brief interview. Whenever we have guests on, we just ask them a few simple questions, to get the viewers to know them a little bit. Just a few simple things. So, Nick, you wanna get into the interview, man?
Yeah, I'll take over that. So, Zomba, introduce yourself in any way you'd like to everyone, for those
Anyway,
that
I
may
like
not know you.
ooh, the dude that reset too early on Ascension. That's me. That's the guy. um, yeah, I'm known as that like Ascension guy, I guess, because that's pretty much all I play on BO1. Yeah, that's the best way to sum me up. I
Okay.
play a little bit of other stuff here and there just because recently I've been getting burnt out. So yeah, just gotta take it easy, and it's good to learn new stuff. It's good to expand knowledge.
Oh
So
yeah,
yeah,
100%. I can't imagine how like tiring it is playing the same map over and over. So I completely understand branching out
yeah,
into other stuff.
yeah.
So yeah, you guys can go check out Zomba. All of his links will be at the top of the description. If you see him live, he's most likely playing Ascension or a different BO1 map. All right, so
Yeah.
Zomba, what got you into just gaming in general, man?
Oh, just gaming in general. Wow.
And yeah,
Boredom, I'd say. I don't know. Just gaming. I'd say. I was always over at my friend's house, like during primary school.
Mm.
Like over here in Australia, we call it primary school when we're really young, right? I don't know what you guys call it over there.
Elementary school, I'm pretty sure.
Elementary, right? Yeah.
yeah.
So yeah, like every weekend I'd go over to my mate's house, and we'd always like do split screening on like Halo and stuff. That was my first real big game that I got into was
Mm.
Halo. Halo 3, right? As soon as I really connected with that, that was it. Um, I just like I kept playing like really young, and then I got into high school, and then I started doing like MLG and stuff,
Mm.
like through all those playlists through like Halo 3 Reach, and started getting like really competitive with it. And then I found just zombies like just over YouTube and stuff, and then yeah, basically found like Easter eggs. I found that really fun to do, and then I started hitting up random lobbies and stuff and finding people, and then that's when eventually I ran into Eggman, as you guys probably know, or whoever doesn't know Eggman. He's an
Mm.
absolute legend. I've known the guy for like probably almost like 10 years now, I'd say.
Shit.
Holy.
Yeah, so we go way back, right? And then he basically introduced me into the whole, oh, like people are competing for like round 99 on maps.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, yeah, I'm all for it. So yeah, that sort of got me into high rounds past just gaming in general. But yeah,
So you met Eggman in like a public match on.
completely. Yeah, it was a Call of the Dead like match out of everything as well.
That's sick, dude. That's
And that
sick.
was that was after like that was a little bit after I think Moon came out and like the last map pack. I think it was
Mm-hmm.
like early, I don't know whenever that came out, but early of the next year, past all the
2011, I think
yes,
2011.
2011. Yeah, so it's a long time, dude. Yeah, almost 10 years probably coming up.
Yeah, that's crazy. I wasn't really playing zombies back when it was big to get into public matches and you just go play with a bunch of random people. So I didn't really get the chance to make any friends in public matches or anything like that. I met everybody in zombies just from Twitch. So that's
Mm,
that's interesting, man. Because I've seen you play some co-ops with Eggman. Obviously, you got the Derice world record with him, and
yes.
but yeah, that's crazy.
Still unchallenged. to this day.
Yeah.
Slayer and Cap are slacking.
Me and Nick are coming for it next, man.
You guys
Oh,
got to run
no.
KJ, but just a little bit better, a tiny bit better, and you got it.
Yeah.
So,
No, we'll run World at War KJ on the BO1 version.
Oh my
got
god,
it
dude.
backwards. Yeah.
We were playing Reese just for fun, a little 2P, and I think Nick gave up. Somebody in chat was like, "Oh, play World at War KJ. Go open up the door that connects like double tap to the Tommy room." So Nick opened it up and started trying to run World at War KJ, and that didn't go very well.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll move on to next question. Zomba, what is your favorite video game of all time? Can be anything.
Oh man. I've got a few. I'd say I have a few. Like, I don't know. Maybe have you guys know Jack and Daxter? Have you guys
No.
heard of that? No. It's like a really
No.
old PlayStation 2 game. It was like almost like an open world game.
Mm-hmm.
You go like collect. Think of it as like Crash Bandicoot,
Okay.
but
Okay.
like you
Oh,
got to
okay.
like collect stuff to advance to like further in the map and stuff. It's like that. That was insane. I was really hooked for that.
Mm-hmm.
And then I don't know that after that, that's when I got into Halo 3. I'd say Halo 3 is probably like next on there.
Mm-hmm.
And then yeah, it'd be Black Ops after that.
Okay.
I'm not sure. Actually, it
Wait.
might be Black Ops 2.
Black
I
Ops
reckon
2.
yeah, I reckon
Heard-
BO2 just for the multiplayer because when I was doing like high rounds and stuff, I
Mhm.
only had time to do that with Eggman on weekends. So I would have to plan out my entire week. So
Mhm.
I was basically trick shotting on BO2 since that came out. I've been doing this for years. I'm almost still doing it, right? I still got like a montage and stuff coming out soon, right?
Ooh.
So I'm still into it. I'm still a part of that like
Mhm.
community as well, which not a lot of people know. But yeah, yeah, I'm still doing a little bit of that. And yeah, what was the question again?
It was just
I got off,
favorite video game of all time.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
all
yeah.
it was.
Yeah, I was trying to explain like, yeah, the multiplayer and like just because of what trickshotting became, it's almost BO2, like almost for me.
Mhm. Yeah.
But the zombies on that, oh my god, dude, garbage. Get it out, get it away
What?
from me.
You don't
Just ray
enjoy?
gunning zombies, go, nah, dude. Half
Yeah.
the stuff on there doesn't work.
Yeah,
The
BO2
stuff,
is kind of shitty for high rounds if you look at it objectively. There's a lot of errors and all that kind of crap. And it's not like BO1 where most of the maps you can just play it out and not have to worry about that kind of stuff.
yeah.
All
But
right.
yeah, I'd say yeah, it's out of BO2 and probably Halo 3.
Yeah,
Good
I
picks.
really like those answers. I never got a chance to play like Halo in its prime, but like everyone gasses it up.
Mhm.
Imagine it's probably such a good game, huh?
Yeah,
Mm,
I played
yeah.
it on split screen and stuff at birthday parties and whatever, but I never actually owned the game. But from what I've tried, it seemed like a super fun game. I definitely want to try it sometime in the future
Yeah.
because I think they ported them to PC sometime recently on Steam or something like that.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that. I was playing that a little bit, like the Master Chief Collection. That's with like all the Halos.
mhm.
That's what they brought to PC. I was playing that with Yezi a little while ago. I think it was like a week ago from now.
Is it populated?
Oh,
Like, are people playing it?
yeah, there's like people on every playlist. Yeah,
Oh shit!
surprisingly. But
Yeah,
yeah, there
I,
is.
I might have to check that out then, man.
Yeah, hop on, man.
All right,
Hop
next.
All
on with.
right. Next question, Zomba. You kind of answered it a little bit, I think, but what was your first Call of Duty Zombies map and or game?
Okay, yeah. So the first one, it's just classic, same as everyone. It was Kino. Like when the game first came out, I also got it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I hopped on Kino, and I think I stopped playing it for about a month because of the dogs. The dog rounds that scared the shit out of me, man. That was yeah, like I literally had to stop. I was like, no, I can't do this, and then I went back to Halo. But then a mate from school,
Mm-hmm.
he said, "Oh, dude, I've got like round 30 on this game." Like, and I don't know, we were just talking about it or whatever, and I was like, "Okay, dude, like I see what you're doing." So I came back and like manned up and then learned over like the next month after that, like getting the T gun and running the stage and that old strat stuff. Like, dude, I got 50. Like,
Dang.
yeah. So,
That must have taken so
yeah,
long.
yeah. So that was my first little venture with zombies.
Very
Mm,
similar to me, dude. My first zombies experience was also on Kino. But I think
yeah.
it, like you said, that is most people's first zombies experience.
Yeah, for sure.
All
So yeah.
right. So Zomba, I feel like I might know the answer to this, but we'll see if you answer differently. What is your favorite zombies map of all time?
Um, I'm gonna go ahead and say not Ascension.
Really?
Ooh.
Hmm.
Really?
Here's the thing. I don't have a favorite because I get this asked a lot in my chat. Like when I'm streaming, I get people come in and always say like, "Oh, dude, this has got to be your favorite map," or "Do you play any other map or whatever?" Because I'm always on it, right?
Hmm.
And it's like because I think I've played it so much now, it's just so dull. You
Hmm.
know, everything's mesmerized. There's nothing sort of new to learn, even though up to this stage, um, like it's funny. I saw Slayer playing a little while ago, and he
Hmm.
like I learned something new. Like even though people might come to me and ask me like, what's the best strat, whatever. Like I feel like I'm still actually learning and taking in information from other people. Like I saw Slayer, and he was just piffing Gershes out of the pap room. Like normally people will do like a loop
Hmm.
and like throw a Gersh to get their drops, and then they'll do another loop like if they get an install, they'll use that or whatever. But he was just throwing them like, like he just served up a fresh batch of pancakes, like like they were hot and ready, and I was like, wow, it's like I tried that for a little while, and it was like, yeah, it was a lot faster to just use the drops there
Hmm.
instead of having to go out. So yeah, but besides like that, I mean, I haven't really learned anything new about it in a while. So yeah, now it's just kind of dull. Um, but yeah, because of that map, I'd say it was my favorite because it had, an insta-kill gun. You could trade it out. That was
Hmm.
fun. It's
Hmm.
got traps. You can utilize those depending on, how you want to mix up your strat. It's got Gershes that can give you drops. It's got, boss rounds that can also give you maxes. You got to think about your ammo and stuff. So it's like you really got to think and make the right decision about what you're going to do, and that's what I really like about maps. Instead of just doing loops and just hitting the trap switch constantly, like I really like maps that really tests a player's knowledge and how they can sort of implement that into trying to like push the map and like go faster basically. um but yeah, like the other maps, they're okay. Moon was my other big one. I played that for a long time.
Hmm.
That was actually before Ascension. I have a 170 on that back on console. When everyone was like bouncing off the dome to get drops.
Really?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah, I don't know. Every map's like kind of different. There's with all the strats and that, like the way you look at it, it's all they've all got like their different things. So I think depending in like what mood you're in and that sort of thing, what you're trying to achieve,
Hmm.
yeah, each map's got its own thing. So yeah, there's no real answer, I guess.
Yeah, I can definitely understand that. I love BO2 Origins and everything, but I'm not in the mood for it all the time. So, yeah, it is my favorite map of all time, but also, like, some days I'll be playing Derice and I'll just love it so much, and that'll feel like my favorite map of all time. Or I'll be playing Shadows of Evil on BO3, and then that will feel like my favorite map. So, I definitely understand what you're saying with it changes with the mood and everything like that.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, you can't play one zombies map forever,
Yeah.
And Zomba, you are a prime example of that. You can't play Essential. You can play for a majority, but you just want to eventually switch it up because burnout is just eventual. It's always gonna happen. It's just when is it
yeah,
gonna happen?
yeah, yeah. Everyone has their limits. Yeah, for sure.
All right. And then so I'll move on to the final question. What is your favorite zombies memory of all time? It could be anything.
Oh, my favorite memory. Wow. I don't know. I've been playing this game for like so damn long. I don't
Mhm.
know. Um, damn, man, that's a hard one. Favorite memory? I'd have to say it has to do like something with Eggman because that's for the longest time. Like that's the only guy I really play with. You
Hmm.
know what I mean? Like, yeah. We've in the past we used to glitch like a lot. So when BO2 came out, I'd say one of my okay, actually, if I can pinpoint an exact sort of time, right? Like
Hmm.
a time period that we had. It was when we were like glitching and trying to be number one. So before BO2 came out, everyone was obviously trying to get to 99 co-op because that's what the board would just allow. Like you couldn't go over that,
Hmm.
and everyone was just pushing for that, right? So that sort of mentality stuck with us. So we were like, it doesn't matter whatever's going on, right? It just as long as you're on top of the board, you're the coolest person ever. Okay. So when BO2 came out, it was so much more competitive because people weren't just quitting out of games and stuff. It was still constantly being pushed.
Hmm.
So we were always just like, yeah, every weekend we were in like sitting in some sort of glitch, like whether it was on Mob of the Dead, sitting in like some cage, just constantly piffing tomahawks. I mean, I'm pretty sure Eggman had a pedestal fan hooked up like, and he's had his controller like on the edge of his desk, and you have the pedestal fan like turn and hit like the LB button to or the RB button to like throw the tomahawk so he could just walk away. And I was sitting some other place while all the zombies were going to him, and I would have to manually like like do that. And that was so straining. But yeah, like trying to find also found a couple of glitches ourselves, and we pushed some boards on like um Rise. I think we had like number one on one board, and then Buried and Mob. So yeah, we were up there like a little bit for a while. Um, but yeah, just that whole exploration thing and trying to like work together to like find new stuff and beat everyone. That was definitely the funnest part I'd say I had for a while. But yeah.
Yeah, I get that, man. I had a similar experience. Like, I had this one friend when I was younger that I used to play with all the time. Like, when I first got into zombies, we'd play Origins Easter egg like every day during that summer, and we just couldn't beat it. And we just kept grinding and grinding till one morning, like at 5 a.m. on split screen, we ended up beating the Easter egg. And it's just
Mhm.
those are some good memories to look back to, man. Definitely
Yeah.
miss the
Yeah,
old
for sure.
days. Okay, I think
All right.
that'll bring us into our first real topic of today, which is going to be the game Black Ops 1. So, do you think that Black Ops 1 is the best zombies game?
Um, the best. I think everyone has their own like interests, you know? Like everyone, I think the best game is made from what people can sort of do and how they perceive it. Like people are going to say probably BO2 might not be great because it's actually quite a hard game.
Mm-hmm.
Um, whereas people tend to get much higher rounds on like BO1 quite easily because of all the wonder weapons, and just you can get max ammos quite easily in
Mm-hmm.
the other rounds, and that it never really seems to end. So yeah, I'd say that it comes down to sort of what's easier. I think people more sort of pull to that
Mm-hmm.
actually. um but yeah, I don't know, the best, yeah, I'd probably say BO1 just because of all the maps. Like you're talking with the DLC, yeah, for sure, it's BO1.
Yeah, it's a lot of
um
it has a lot to offer for pretty much everyone. Like we all loved it back when we were casuals and just going to play, and then
Yeah,
obviously it's been like 10 years since the game came out and people are still grinding for world records every single day.
yeah. There's still like new stuff being found all the time as well,
Hmm.
like new strats. It's crazy. So yeah, I think that's why it's the best. Is because it's definitely like more open. There's definitely a lot of like different stuff that you can do and different strats that you can use, especially like for high round players and casuals as well. It's a much friendlier experience as well. besides maybe BO3 with the Mega Gums, but yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What
I'd say
what me-
BO1.
what BO1 mechanics do you like compared to BO2 or BO3 or whatever games you played? What BO1 mechanics kind of reach out to you? What do you enjoy from the game?
The
Could
mechanics. I don't know. I'd say probably the movement
Mhm.
is definitely a lot smoother. Like when you press something, you want your character to do that,
Yeah.
right? Like if you're moving around, if you're trying to dodge zombies, you don't want to have that like delay because I feel like BO3 is really almost kind of clunky. Like it's not smooth. Like you and also with the zombies, like you can't really predict what they're gonna do sometimes. And then when they're in a hole, like they're really fat. So yeah, like trying to move and navigate is definitely a lot easier on BO1 for sure.
Yeah.
Like I think a lot of people like strafing too, like a lot of the keyboard warriors, right? These keyboard nerds. Dude, you all gotta go control.
Did he cut out?
Pardon? Zomba?
Are you there, Zomba? Did
Another
he?
time. Oh no, don't tell me to cut out. Did I cut out?
Yeah, you cut out, but
Hello?
we
Oh,
can
okay. Damn.
we can hear you now. But
I'm
Okay.
back now. Right. Yeah, okay. Damn, I don't know what happened.
well, that
Okay,
was
fair
weird.
enough. Australian internet, man. You gotta love it. Aussie internet. Bloody Telstra, man. Anyway, yeah. Yeah, about the movement. Like I'd just say, yeah, BO1 is just a lot it's just a lot smoother, like I think the sliding feature and stuff on BO3 is really dumb.
I
I don't
li-
like it.
I like
Um,
sliding when you're going from one place to another, but sliding while you're actually hoarding up or training is kind of
it
useless.
just doesn't work, right?
No, it's not
Yeah.
good. A lot
Yeah.
of times you'll end up like accidentally crouching or something or just
Yeah.
sliding into the zombies, and it's not really the best mechanic for that. But in other parts of BO3, like say you're doing Easter egg speedrunning or you're just setting up on the map, just getting from point A to point B feels so fast, and it's really easy for casual players to do. Like strafe
Yep.
jumping takes a lot of work and a lot of skill to do, but if you just want to jump slide, it's super easy to do and pretty much anybody can do it. So I think that's why, or one reason why, a lot of people love BO3 and its mechanics so much, because it's accessible to pretty much anybody.
Yeah, I can see that. I can definitely see that. Yeah, I do get a little bit jealous when I'm going to people's streams and I just see them like just strafe jumping like literally everywhere. Like they want
Mm-hmm.
to move like 2 centimeters to the left, dude. Strafe, like you got to get there fast, man. I do.
Yeah.
I do get a little bit jealous. Like it's really, really hard to do that on controller. Like for those people watching, I play a controller. It's not optimal, by the way. Don't do it. Um, yeah,
Nick, what do
Yeah.
you prefer? Because you primarily play controller. What game mechanics do you think are the best movement wise?
Well, for a controller, it's easily BO3. You
Yeah.
just spam BA. You don't have to fucking like to actually
mm,
strafe somewhere, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So, BO3. But I mean, I really do like BO1 mechanics. I mean, I wish I was actually good at strafing, you know? I'm so shit at it. But
yeah,
yeah, I don't even know which one's like objectively better because like both have like their pros and cons. Like, yeah, sliding's better getting from a point A to point B, but it's not really gonna like save you. Like if you're training, you're
Mm-hmm.
better just running than actually sliding
Yeah.
because sliding is actually slower in the end. But strafing is like yeah, it helps you get out of places, but like you're not as fast on the map
Yeah.
compared to like slide spam.
Yeah.
mm,
But I think I enjoy the non-sliding mechanics more overall. Like I'd rather have a game without sliding than with sliding. But I think out of the games
Mhm.
that don't have sliding, like let's just say BO1, BO2, I really don't like BO2 movement. Like I think BO2 movement feels super clunky. I feel like you're always getting stuck and your sprint is locked and it just doesn't feel good because I haven't really mastered that. because I was talking to somebody who played BO2. I'm not really sure, but they were saying on BO1, if you jump after you strafe, just have a little jump after you strafe, you can like maintain momentum. But in BO2, it's really difficult to maintain your momentum while you're sprinting and strafing forward. So it ends up with you getting locked and not being able to
Yeah,
sprint a lot of the time. And that doesn't end well if
I mean the map design as well doesn't help too. The like I feel like a lot of the maps are just this, like you're running like this.
mm-hmm.
Like
Yeah.
Nuketown and stuff, it's got all those like weird edges and stuff. Mob's a bit of a weird one. There's so many like different corners and
Mm-hmm.
stuff. I don't know what else is there. Diarize, you're just either going up or down.
Yeah.
um, yeah, so yeah, I think map design also helps with like determining what flows better as well with movement.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense because BO2, the map's really the getting from point A to point B, like I was talking about, it's not easy on BO2. Like mob, there's like if you down on mob while you're at the cafeteria and you have to go get jug, you have to go completely across the map to do that. And then there's a lot of ups and downs and places you can get stuck in tight corners where there could be zombies. And then I think they improved on that map design a lot in BO3 on a map like Shadows of Evil, where you have a portal in each of the 3 districts, and you can get from either district that you're at into where the pack a punch room is. So I think they improved on that as we went on in games, but I still think overall BO1 kind of finds a middle ground. Like the maps aren't too big and too difficult to get across. I mean, maybe besides Call of the Dead, because Call of the Dead's pretty massive, but all
Mm,
the other maps
yeah.
seem to be pretty easy to get across. And when you down, it's not that much of a pain to get reset up and to go get your perks and stuff like that.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
I would say the only like other really bad map, like trying to get like set up on again, like after going down, is probably like Moon.
Oh yeah, that
Because like yeah.
Oh, just
Moon's
because
map
of
is
jug and speed.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
and like getting there, you if you down and spawn where the strat is, you have to like you would think that you could go from spawn back to no man's land, but no, you have to run all the way through the map with no jug or anything and jump into that portal outside, and then chances are it's going to be fucking speed when you get there, and you have to do that loop again to go get jug, and it's just
Yeah.
it's not very intuitive.
Yeah.
Alright. So Zomba, I have a question. So would you change anything about BO1 to maybe make it like objectively the best game? Or would you just keep it like same way it is, you know, like
I'd probably say I'd probably say keep it the same, honestly. I don't know. Besides fixing like a couple of bugs,
Mm-hmm.
like the fails and stuff when you shoot, like the fade shots. I don't know. Maybe besides that, that's about it. I think the game is really balanced. Like I was saying before, like each map is it's got its own thing and each strat is different and unique. You've all got to play it differently. You know, it really tests what a player can do. So yeah, it tests. I think BO1 sort of tests a player's knowledge more than their actually like their ability to play it, if that makes sense. Like the actual like movement and trying to kill the zombies, I guess. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I can see that. I think it depends on
with
the map. Like some maps are very straightforward. Like I would say Kino is relatively straightforward, doesn't require much knowledge, but like what you were talking about earlier with Ascension, Ascension is like purely game knowledge. Obviously there's some skill involved, but there's so much game knowledge that goes into that map. It's actually crazy.
yeah, yeah. Besides that, I don't know. Yeah, there's not much. I think it's really good. I mean, there's a reason why so many people are still on the game.
Mhm.
It's not it you know, if there's still a lot of people still competing for records, it's obviously not a bad game. So
Mhm. Yeah,
yeah.
I don't think there's any like big annoying things that I can think about with BO1. Like in World at War, obviously like you stick to the zombies and the knife is terrible and Waff takes your jug on Reese,
Mhm.
and BO2 just feels clunky to me, and the map design is a little bit weird. But BO1, if I think about it, there's nothing I would really want to change about it. There could be a few things that could improve the gameplay a little bit, like with on the Winter Wonderland map, they added a few things that kind of reduced the RNG. I think that would be
Mm.
kind of interesting, but overall, BO1 just seems like a very solid game, and I don't think I would want to change anything about it.
Yeah,
Nick,
I
how do you
know.
feel about
Nick,
that?
Nick, yeah, Nick. What are your thoughts, man?
No, I mean, I wouldn't change anything about BO1, especially BO1. Like, I think we can all agree it's like the best game for just strictly high rounding,
Mm-hmm.
like 100%. However, I will say, like, objectively, probably some like BO3 is objectively the best, just because like every single aspect of like the zombies community kind of likes it. Like, high rounders, they can get 200 pluses, 255s, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
your casual could get like around 100 or something, and the Easter eggs on that game are also solid. I mean, just like, yeah, the only thing I guess I would change about BO1 is like, I don't know, like I wish like Easter eggs were kind of better, just for like speedrunning purposes, so I can watch super skilled players speedrun Easter eggs on that game.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, like high rounds on that game, I wouldn't change a single thing about it. Besides maybe like like some bugs and stuff. Like if only there wasn't so many fucking wonder weapon fails on that game.
Yeah.
That'd be nice if they fixed that. But yeah, other than like that, no, nothing I'd change.
Yeah, no, I could actually agree with that. If the maps were a lot more solo friendly to Easter egg runners, then yeah,
Yeah.
I think I would maybe try that because I like speedrunning too. I speedrun a different game,
Mm-hmm.
very very rarely. But yeah, like I still like that little, oh, you've actually stuffed up. You have to restart because it's like that optimized. Like speedruns are usually like that. So yeah, if it was more solo friendly, then yeah, it'd be really good. You'd definitely have a lot more people streaming and doing that for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that would have the reason BO1 doesn't appeal to, or high rounds in general doesn't appeal to a lot of people is just the time it takes on, like, if you're just doing Easter egg speedruns, it would take maybe 30 minutes to like an hour at max. But if you're doing high rounds, just to get around 100 could take anywhere from like 6 all the way to 10 hours or something on most maps, and just not everybody has the time to do that or the patience. They just want to go in, have some fun, and get out. And BO1 doesn't offer much of that unless you just go play casually with your friends in a public lobby or something like that. So I
Yeah.
completely get where you're coming from with that, Nick, about adding or having Easter eggs like that.
Yeah.
All right. I
All
think
right.
that'll
Well,
bring
so
us on
I
to
think
Ascension.
Yep. So we're gonna talk about a lot of Ascension with the Zomba, and in case if we didn't cover it, well enough, even though I'm pretty sure we did, Zomba is like the Ascension guy. The way you want to view it, he may even have Ascension world record if you considered 233 as world record. So Zomba, question for you: do you know how many hours on Ascension you have total?
Oh, okay. I can actually answer that right now. Okay, give me 2 seconds.
Ooh.
Looking at Steam. The store. Okay, Black Ops. I would say like at least 97% of it is Ascension.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna
Oh
do
yeah,
the
it's in
division
library.
here.
Okay, okay, overall on PC or on Steam, what do you guys reckon my hours played is?
On
And this is
BO1,
within the last four years, by the way.
I'm gonna say
Uh.
30,000 hours.
What?
Okay, I'm okay.
I'm gonna say
Nick,
5,500.
500. Okay, well I've got 7,500 here. So
Oh,
I
it's 2,000 off.
yeah,
7,000.
yeah.
That's
Oh my god.
312 days. That's 312.5 days. Holy
Yeah,
shit.
I'm not real proud of that, but
And you think
hey, I'm
like
I'm a bored and I go to work, I come home, I just sit down and play the game.
so you think
So
like,
yeah, I'd probably say around the 7,000 is probably just Ascension.
wow, dude. That's like
Mm,
almost 300 days or so on
mm.
Ascension. How are you still playing it and still having motivation? Like, you got that 233, which is like accepted by most people as world record. Like, how do you still have motivation to keep on playing when you have like almost 300 days on the map and RNG is gonna fuck you up like half the time, or you just make a mistake or something like that? How do you keep going with it, man?
Yeah. Honestly, I feel like I owe it. I feel like because I was going for way before it got the 240, I was still going for the world record, which was like the 232 at the time.
Mm-hmm.
I was going for that, and a lot of people back then were like rooting for me, and they still do to this day. I still get a lot of the same people in my Twitch chat still coming in.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I even get Twitter DMs. Like I had literally a Twitter DM from someone yesterday saying like, "Dude, this year is gonna be your year. You're gonna like, you're gonna kill it and whatever." That shit's awesome. Like seeing that, it's like I don't want to give up because of that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Um, so it's more like I think I know that I can push the map a lot further. I mean, for it got the 240. Personally, there's a very small group of people that think that 240 is like whatever, like it can be pushed a little bit further, right? You can
Mm-hmm.
maybe save maybe 2-3 hours, right? Which personally, for as long as I've been playing, I have a lot of 100 pluses on the map. I've got like a lot of 130s, 140s, 150s. I think it's like 9, maybe 10 instas on the map now.
Wow.
So yeah, like even looking at that, it's like I'm still very close to for its times with the 240,
Mm-hmm.
but it's never like as soon as bang instas hit, it's like you lose time. Like whether it's like maybe I'm running M16 wrong, which in pretty much every game I have been, but I have practiced a little bit. I've like outlined what I was doing wrong, and I'm running it fine now.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's like I know that I can do it. It's just, yeah, but I don't know, man. I don't know what really keeps me going. It's just one of those things. I'm just one of those people. Like even at work, I don't stop. Like I'll be on like uh, I can't put it into words. Like my mentality of it. Um, I just don't want to quit. That's really it.
Yeah,
Plus,
you're
I get like a little bit of enjoyment of like, which sounds weird, but I get a little bit of enjoyment out of like, oh shit, um, I've stuffed up. How can I improve? What can I do better next time?
mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I always look at it like that. Like I can't let the game beat me. It's a video game.
Mm-hmm.
It's a video game, man. You can't let that beat you. Like,
Yeah.
come on. I've been through harder stuff in life. Like,
Mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah, I just look at it as like that. I think I keep coming back to it every single day because everything is still fresh in my mind. Like if I were to go off, play Doris for like a month, I guarantee you I'll come back to Ascension and I'll play and then make one mistake. I'll be like, oh, I forgot to do that, or I was zoned out, and then my game's over. I have to restart. So it's almost like that. I think it's that mentality of I wake up, I go to work, I do what I got to do. I hop on, I'm like, okay, I still know what I'm doing. I just get into it and I just go.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like that.
Yeah, and you're really close too. Like obviously there's a gap between 233 and 240, but like you said,
Yeah,
your times are close to Furret, either aligned with it or a little bit slower. But you're close. You can get to that point of instas with the good 240 level times. It's just pushing past that and
yeah,
knowing that you're so close to getting that goal probably is good motivation. And obviously like you said, you have people that are rooting for you, that wants you to succeed, get that 240. So I can see why you still play it, but still that's a lot of fucking hours. I don't think I would
yeah.
have the energy or the power to do that, man.
Oh, yeah, I was also gonna add, yeah, it's also such a big gap too.
Mm-hmm.
Like 233 between 240. Yeah, I just feel like I haven't done that record justice,
Yeah.
Like, even though it's technically the record, I still consider Furret has the higher round. You know
Yes.
what I mean? It's just because the 233, it's on just the same playing field as everyone else would play,
Mhm.
just because of the whole fast rate and the health bar thing.
Mhm.
But still, to me, I think it's still one of the best games ever played, like ever.
Yeah, I
But yeah, like I think 233, I look at that and go, dude, like my time on that game up until instas, it was faster. I was really happy, and then as soon as I started getting like constant 15 and 20-minute trades, it just went phew. And then I stopped caring. I was like, I'm gonna just play it out. I'm sick of restarting. I'm gonna
mhm.
just do it. So yeah,
If you
that's
ran
really why
M
that happened.
if you ran M16 all game, that game, do you think you would have been able to get a high round than 233, or would it not have made that much difference?
Oh yeah, for sure. I think M16 overall, depending of course on how many instas you miss. I mean, 4 rounds you're gonna be trading, and instas
Mhm.
you're gonna be using that. So
Mhm.
yeah, depending on how many you miss, I think it's someone worked it out. It was like an hour and 40 minutes, something around there, that you would save from 163 to 240, or that Ferret saved in his game.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
that's like a full round. That's
Yeah.
I think in my game I was 5 minutes from, or just an extra T gun from finishing 233. So
Yeah, I remember that.
I could have gotten like a 235
Yeah.
plus
Oh,
whatever monkeys I had.
is 234 an insta kill round, or
I don't know,
yeah, I
but yeah.
remember I was in your chat that day that you were getting the 233 and you were getting like these insane trades towards the end of the game. And
Yeah,
like
like right at the end. I think I had 2 one-hit trades back to back. Those were
mhm,
my last 2 trades of the game. It was
yeah.
like on, I think it was 220 plus. I think my trade started to turn around there.
Mhm.
Between instas, right when that hit, I was just constantly being barraged with like 10 plus minute trades at least. And then here and there was like a few okay trades.
Mhm.
But yeah, and then it turned around at the end, of course. Yeah, but yeah, I think I've definitely settled down from playing. Like the past 2 weeks, I said this before. I was playing like Halo with Yezi. I've just been
Mhm.
chilling. I've been watching a ton of Netflix and stuff. Of course, even with work, I was doing night shift for 2 months, so that's taken a bit of a toll on my body. I'm not mentally as strong at the moment as I was probably before that.
Mhm.
So like still trying to play catch up with my sleep. But yeah, I've like opened up to Doris and stuff, and I'm probably gonna learn a new map soon when I get bored of that too. So
Any
yeah,
idea what map that's going to be?
it'll be something completely non RNG based, because I think it's gotten to the point where a lot of people, or not a lot, like just some people in the community just think that I rely on luck to get high rounds, when I'm more than capable of just like playing out a game and beating a record
Mhm.
just as is. So maybe something like Vrocked, um, or like Shino, or something that's just has like dog rounds or whatever. Maybe 5 even. I don't know. I don't like 5 though. 5 sucks, but I'd do it honestly, just to mix it up.
I want to see you
So
beat
yeah.
that 202 on Shinonuma, man. I want to see that.
Everyone's after that at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just all of a sudden, I think the past like few weeks is just, I've seen so many people like Mango.
Mhm.
Who else was on there recently?
Krups
I
was
don't
playing
know.
it today. Krups died in the
S-
50s,
I
but
think Zato's on there.
mhm.
I think, I mean, Furt was on there for a while.
Yeah.
There's a few people who are definitely pushing for it. So I mean, yeah, maybe I could just give it a go.
Yeah,
But
because
again,
for like more than to beat the 202, you don't have to play like super fast, do you? Or
yeah, well, that's the hard thing. I mean, there's only certain strats that you can do that actually work, so you won't down.
mhm.
So it's not even about like playing fast or slow, like doing the strat right. It's doing the strat so that you don't down. I think that's the way to sort of look at it. So it's either you're doing a slow strat or you're doing the fast strat. You know what I mean? So it's either like you're going to get a really high round or you're going to come close to the record. So if you're doing it, you got to be doing it the right way, I think.
Yeah. Yeah,
Mm.
I saw what Mango is doing. I think it's dropped down. So it didn't look super scuffed. Like it didn't seem like he would have to use his waff very often, but but it also seemed like it was pretty fast. But I'm not sure. I don't really have much to compare it to. I saw a little bit of Furt's gameplay when he was going for Shinonuma, but I don't think I ever saw him like 100 plus that much. See what he ran past 100.
Yeah. I think, yeah, with Furt's mentality, it's like, it's like, yeah, you're getting the highest round possible or it's whatever, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, there are a lot of people like that, of course, but
Yeah.
yeah,
That
like I
perfectionist mindset.
the perfectionist mindset, I guess mine is a little bit like that too. I think if I were to hop onto Shino, I definitely want to try and play well,
Mm-hmm.
but if you know, if there was like a little bit of leeway to play it a little bit slower and safer, I would probably do that, honestly, just to make sure that I get the record. But you don't want to just get the record. Like that's the same probably saying about my Ascension why I'm still playing it.
Mm-hmm.
Is that it's okay to get the record, but you also want to give the other players in the community like that challenge. Like I got this round, now you got to beat it. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? So it's a little bit like that. So you still want to give like an impressive game. You don't want to just get the record because like I think in the past maybe like a lot of people like you know this guy beat this guy, that's insane, that's the craziest thing ever. But now it's like I think because the community as a whole has more understanding of the maps and how they're played, it's like yeah, you've really got to try and push the map, otherwise it's not that of an impressive game because everyone just can see that coming, you know. It's not as impressive.
Yeah.
But
It,
yeah. If I go back, sorry, not go back. If I play Shino, I'll definitely play it like okay-ish. You know.
yeah.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying with that. Just not
Mm.
like freakishly fast where it's super risky and you have a chance of downing very
Yeah.
often, but not like
Yeah.
super slow either. Somewhere in
Yeah.
the middle.
All my downs, I'm just leaving for Ascension. That can stay there. Like I'm not gonna play all risky biscuits. You know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if I want to take a break from that. You know, that constant feeling like I'm failing. Like, yeah, so if I go to a different map, I want to feel like I'm learning and making progress in the map.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like you don't necessarily feel that with Ascension unless like you learn like one little thing, kind of like
Mm-hmm.
going back to the Gersh thing that you learned recently, like just
Mm,
kind of throwing it, not just like, hoarding and then throwing it, you know.
yeah.
But kind of going back to that like whole perfectionist mindset thing, do you think there's anything that Ferd's 240 game could have been improved on? Or was that like very close to the perfect game?
I'd say him running PAP was probably that was perfect.
Mm-hmm.
He got that. I saw most of his game. He got that SPH like real down. Like he was running that like so well. Like he was getting to the door and just the zombies were dead. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Whereas I'm like, even I'm playing on controller, and it's really hard because you have to. I don't know how to explain it the way that I do it, but when you're going to turn to face the door and kill them, there's like because it's harder to aim on controller. Even though you're shooting a full horde, you've got to like because there's so many of them, you have to shoot like dead center. So it
Yeah.
takes like that extra tiny bit of time to just make sure that you don't miss any.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So even that, like, I'm losing time, but you know, most of the time it's okay. But he did that like perfectly, I think. Um, anything else? I'd say maybe hitting the traps a little better. I don't know. It's more like instances. It's like oh, the strat itself, what he did is like you know he nailed it,
Mm-hmm.
right? But like those tiny, small like decision makings, like, oh, should I like when I'm running from the stand box to like when you get the T gun, like I came up with the idea of instead of like just doing a full horde from the stand trap and then using the lander to get back because like the mule trap might not be ready.
Mhm.
You just like kill them and then run instead of like just trying to like do the full horde. Um so yeah, I don't really know. Like I can't say. I'd have to sort of nitpick at it.
Yeah.
But in terms of like the full strat, he did everything pretty much pretty well. I mean, that's why he got the 240. It's pretty much again what I was saying. It's almost like the perfect game, you know,
Yeah.
in terms of everything that he did. So
How
yeah,
are his
and even
miss? Hmm?
yeah,
How are his like? How is his RNG like? Missed instas, trade average, all that kind of stuff. Could that be improved? I mean, obviously everything could be improved RNG wise, but was his RNG pretty good, pretty bad, in the middle?
um, I would look at it like this. I don't know if you guys have recently. Do you know Dream? Like of that whole controversy about
Mm.
that
Yeah,
Minecraft
I've
guy.
heard about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, about like him having like ridiculously good odds,
Mm-hmm.
right? This is the way that I look at it. You have like 100 and something trades in the game. Okay. You're
Mm-hmm.
gonna have at times you're gonna have good trades and bad trades. The thing about is his game is that out of all of those 130, 140, whatever, how many trades he had, right?
Mm-hmm.
All of them were like not insanely bad and not insanely good either. He didn't really spike. They were all sort of like evened out. Like think about having that one game where it's just all like that. Like the odds of that happening are insane. So people, even to this, like there's still like a lot of people that play Ascension and could be like, he could have had better RNG or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like getting that average. You know what I mean? Like he's like, oh, you can nitpick and be like, he had like a 20-minute trade, dude. Like, oh, that's trash. Like you can save a lot of time from maybe those one or two bad trades or whatever. Hitting the traps a little bit faster. But even still, the thing is what I notice is that when you don't have trades that are taking over 5 minutes, um, the sort of like how you're running the traps, everything aligns quite well. You're not having to use the bow as well, so you don't have to do like you don't have to rely on getting 4 rounders
Mm-hmm.
to get the max ammo for your bow because if you're hitting the box too much and moving it, you're using more bow ammo to hit the box faster, so you
Yeah.
can hit the traps, right? So it's like that. He had that real good average that a lot of people will probably see, like I'll see past and say, dude, he had like the best game ever, right? The way that I see it, because I've just been playing the map so long, and I still to this day, even though maybe like I die a lot or whatever, to have that amount of hours and say that I've never had a game close to that is, yeah, it's just insane to me how people can say it can still be optimized and whatever. But yeah, that's just the way that I see it.
Yeah, I talked to some people and they were saying like they're going for like a 242, like 240 plus, and they didn't even have a 200 on the map yet. And like I
Mm,
don't think a lot of people understand how incredibly difficult it is to stay playing super fast the whole game, and also like you're probably not going to have amazing RNG. You might have garbage RNG that game, and you might make a mistake. Like just playing out a 70-hour game almost perfectly and having that RNG be in your favor, it's
yeah,
incredibly difficult, and obviously there's a lot of luck involved. So I don't think people understand how difficult it is.
yeah.
Yeah, I
Um,
was looking at it, and I was just thinking like, oh, it can't be that hard to get a 240. Just watching like for its gameplay, I was like, oh, this doesn't look like anything special. Yeah, he's running fast and he's trading fast, but why can't other people do this? And then I see you play, and you're playing extremely well, but then just every game there's something that goes wrong. There's like some RNG that goes wrong or anything like that, and it's just incredibly difficult to get that almost perfect game like you were talking about.
Yeah, here's another thing that I wanted to expand on, but I forgot.
Mhm.
The thing about hitting the box a lot, right, and getting bad trades is the amount of respawners that you get. And people don't
Oh,
realize
yeah.
this, but when you get respawners, you're likely to die. They become an issue. So again, that thing with like using more bow ammo, like you really have to try and conserve it, but also you want to be using it so you're not losing an insane amount of time, right? So it does come to the point of like if you're playing power, you got no bow and you get like two respawners, like 9 times out of 10, you're probably gonna die.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, like I think in the past 2 weeks, I think I had a game past 70, past 80, and another game past 70. I died in all three of those games to respawners. I died one in power because I got stuck in the stairs, bringing the horde down after the box moved. I had no idea that this thing bled out.
Mhm.
It blocked me
Ooh.
like downstairs. Um, and then I had another time coming down from speed. Same thing. I didn't know it bled out. It was just I was shooting the horde to make points. This thing just totally owned me. And then there was that other instance I can't remember, but that happens like a lot.
Mhm.
So yeah, like he got lucky in that sense too. He had an insane amount of red screen. I think he had maybe 4 or 5 red screens like in Mule when he was training. I looked over his game. He
Damn.
could have, yeah, he got trapped like a lot. He had to spam the bow a lot to get out of that. So, yeah, I think he got pretty lucky in that aspect as well. Not dying because I mean, again, the whole point of zombies is to survive, right? It's who can survive the longest. So,
Mhm.
in that aspect, he got pretty lucky too. I think
Did he have any downs that game?
he had one down. I think it was running Pap actually.
Really? T-gun fail?
Nah, I think he just tried to like zip past the horde and he just insta downed. I think that's what happened.
Damn.
But that happens a lot. Also trying to like here's another thing about the luck of Ascension is that the amount of spawn, like the amount of zombies that spawn when you're exiting Pap after you kill a horde,
Mhm.
that come from that right window is like it can totally determine like over the course of that 70-hour game you can lose like so much time. If you have too many zombies from there, you can lose like a lot of minutes from that. If you're having to slowly instead of like cut through the middle and get to the door straight away, if you're getting too many of them and you have to go around and wait for them all the ones at the back to come to you, you lose like a lot of time from that
Mhm.
you know and yeah, like it also depends on how many are inside. You have to wait for them. So sometimes it is a bit of a waiting game with Pap as well. It's not a constant SPH. There's also RNG there, like depending how many you get stuck in the window and stuff,
Mhm.
because that can happen. But yeah, he also got pretty lucky in that aspect. I'd say as well.
Mhm.
Just running Pap. I said he ran that pretty perfectly, and that was a little bit because of how the zombies were just moving and reacting. So yeah,
Yeah, that makes sense because I played a good amount of Ascension, and I noticed that the spawns can be really weird, and sometimes you're just gonna have to take that horde up really slowly because you don't have a gap to go through, and then
mm,
sometimes you get those perfect spawns and you can just jet right through the middle and shoot them with the T gun. It really varies, and I guess throughout a 70-hour game if you tend to get better spawns throughout that 70-hour game with the amount of hordes that you're killing with the T gun, obviously it's going to make a difference. I don't know how long, but it definitely could make a difference over time.
yeah, but yeah, that's the other thing that I'd say about that, I guess.
So we've talked about what FERT could improve on the 240, which is not much. What could you improve on your 233?
Everything,
Everything.
everything. When it comes to probably trading, since then I've like even compared to Furt's game, doesn't like his game is so good. I'd say, like, even if he did improve, like hitting the traps or whatever, it's not going to save the amount of time to get to that next round.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
the you know, to complete 240 would have been like an hour 45, something around that.
Mm-hmm.
So to make up that amount of time throughout that game is like even if you do improve a little bit, it's like not going to make that much difference. But seeing as though I'm trying to match it, I'm probably gonna get like less RNG. So every little thing that I can do counts.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'd say like hitting the traps a little bit better while you're trading, making that right decision, the right call. Like I've been tracking my box as well. I'm pretty sure he did that maybe to an extent. Um, maybe ran to a box a little bit quicker, because he probably knew it was going to spawn there. Um, but I tend to track my box cycle. So if I know like a trap's going to be ready sometime soon, and a box is going somewhere, I'll try and make that right call, to save me that time. So yeah, compared to my 233, I don't think I was doing that like at all. I was just like gunning it to the box pretty much, and if the trap was
Mm-hmm.
ready, it was ready. Just that was it. So also running PAP, I asked for it after my 233. I was like, dude, I did my 233, and I looked back at it, and I was running PAP. I think it was at like between 17 and 18 SPH,
Mm-hmm.
where PAP should be about 16 SPH. So that's a lot of time.
Yeah.
That's like a lot of time. So yeah, compared to then, I'm running PAP like almost as fast as for it, almost.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm probably like Slayer and whoever else that's pretty fast plays.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing I'd probably say is utilizing drops as well, past instas. Depending on like people probably don't know this, like, but if you've got like a max ammo coming up in your cycle
Mm-hmm.
and you've got monkeys coming up, you need to make the right call. Like, oh, you can trade, but you can also kind of maybe run the traps, which is a little bit slower. But if you've got a max ammo coming up, maybe yeah, trap and then try and get that max ammo on the insta kill round. But if you know that you've got like a max ammo coming up, but you're gonna miss the insta or whatever, like you
Mm-hmm.
could potentially have monkeys, like maybe leaving it, like getting through your cycle and then being on a new cycle. It's complicated.
Yeah.
I'm getting lost trying to explain it. Like
Yeah.
it's yeah. So just utilizing drops and that sort of thing, like making the right call, can save you a lot of time.
Mm-hmm.
Which is definitely something that I have a lot better knowledge of now that I've played out that full game,
Mm-hmm.
to reset. And I don't know what else. M16, of course. I practiced that. I've practiced that probably more than anyone. Um, Getting the aiming down, like I've tried lowering my sensitivity a little bit. I played on like the max sensitivity, but I've lowered it down to 9 instead
Mm-hmm.
of 10. That helps my aiming a lot. Um, Trying to utilize like reloading. Because if the more you're reloading as well, doing M16, you're not killing the zombies while you're doing that. So you really need to time that perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
So there's just like the small things like that I've really tried to narrow down. I'm saving a lot of time on that now. So if I play out a game, I think M16 should be fine for me. Um, yeah, I don't know what else. Yeah.
Yeah. So
But
I
yeah, for its
guess.
game, I'd say is pretty close to perfect. My game obviously can be improved a lot. That's why I'm still playing.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
Yeah. I guess.
yeah,
Have your goals changed? I know you were going for the 240 plus for a while. Are you still looking for that, or have you lowered your goals at all since
nah.
then?
My goal now, instead of going for a 240, I think I realize I'm gonna have more missed instas than for it, and I'm not gonna have as good trades as for it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, I think I sort of realized 240 is just not gonna happen for me.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I just want to play out a game where I play to the best of my ability and just try and do everything perfectly without trying to make any mistakes. What RNG I get is what I get. I think a 238 is where I'm gonna sit at comfortably, like playing a game out
Mhm.
normally. So yeah, if I get that, I'd be pretty happy. So yeah,
Yeah, I guess I mean if you play to the best of your ability and just don't get the RNG, like you can't blame yourself for that. You know that you
yeah,
did your best and people watching know that you did your best and just the RNG didn't happen to work. So, yeah, I guess that does make sense. If you have such a huge goal like 240 that greatly relies on RNG, it's probably very mentally draining knowing that this probably isn't going to happen. Even if I play to the best of my ability, I'm probably not going to be able to get to this round. So I think
yeah,
that's a better goal to have, to play your best instead of just a specific round goal that's very difficult to get to.
yeah. I had a game on 200 and something like 201 or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and I died to a T-gun fail. Yay.
Oh.
But I was only like 2 hours behind for its time with like 5 missed to 200 or whatever.
So
Um,
that was good, right? That's
yeah, I'd say that's like okay. I would still play that out and still expect to maybe get 237 plus.
mm-hmm.
You know, um, but yeah, like yeah, I don't know what else I was gonna say. Really, I'd be happy. Like it's so mentally draining as well when you get to like 100 or whatever, and you start getting beyond that. The rounds start taking longer. When you have the time of looking like at 100, 110, then 120, 130, then 140, it's like if you see that you're losing time, it's hard to sort of notice when you're making that back up, or if you're making it up at all, if you're going slow or whatever, it's
Mm-hmm.
it's a little bit harder to notice that just because of that time difference there. Because the further you get into the game, uh, those rounds are taking longer. So yeah, like as soon as you see that you're going slower, it's really demotivating to play. But even when I was like, I was like 2 hours behind in that 200 game, I still wanted to keep playing. I was still like, yeah, this is going okay. Besides running M16 pretty poorly. But now, like, yeah, if I got into another game and I was in that same situation, I'd still play it out and be pretty happy with what was going on. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm excited for you to get into another one of those games. We're definitely rooting for you. We want to see that 238 plus. I'm sure a bunch of people in the community have been rooting for you too, like you said. So hopefully
yeah,
one of these days you'll get that good game, get some decent RNG, and play that shit out and beat that 233, man. So
yeah. Thanks.
yeah, good
It
luck.
it, it means a lot.
Okay, I think that will move us on to our next topic. Nick, do you want to bring it up?
Yeah, so we'll be talking about Fast Ray, and we'll be getting Zomba's thoughts on it. So for those that didn't watch our last episode, Mike and I were like, somewhat pro Fast Ray, just kind of see like some maps pushed out, like I know like for Mike, like for BO1 maybe, but like for something like BO2, like a survival map, I think Fast Ray is super cool. Seeing like Chris Voltage get nuked down to around 100, I think that was sick. And it could even be 100 plus if you played Fast Ray. Um, but yeah, Zomba, what are your just overall thoughts on Fast Ray? Should it be allowed on the leaderboard sites and the high round games,
Mm. Yeah, well,
all that?
definitely. I'll like touch on the first thing that you're actually talking about there. I think that's a good starting point. Just generally talking about it. Um, yeah, I think it introduces just a whole different way of playing. Of just like, yeah, you're killing the zombies faster. Whereas like playing town and Nuketown, like when you start shooting the zombies with the ray, I've noticed the packs get like a lot larger, right? Whenever you're just shooting a pack of zombies in general, or like with any gun, they tend to like spread out a little bit, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think it really comes down to a lot of more player skill, like to optimize the game and to push the map. I think a lot of people are sort of looking past that, just hold down the trigger and just empty a clip, right? If you want to, as a player, you want to push them up. I think a lot more people have to look at those smaller things to optimize, like especially like that, shooting at the right time. Like if the pack's like too spread out, emptying your clip, that might not be the best idea. If you're trying to shoot one zombie to get that one to die because that's inflicted the most damage, you want to try and maybe do another loop and try and get the back end to the front, because you can do that with hordes if you're training the right way. So yeah, I think utilizing ammo is a better way to approach those maps than just saying, yeah, let's use this newfound thing. But yeah, in terms of like it being legit or not, it just comes down to like, is it allowed? Like, are we on the same playing field when we're using that? Probably not, because for the longest time, or not the longest time, for a while, I was pro fast rate as well
Mhm.
when it first was like released. When Sam, I was one of the first people that he like sort of came to me and was like, dude, I found this thing, and I was like, okay, sick. And yeah, he showed me. I was like, oh yeah, dude, like we use that in trick shotting like all the time. How have people not like known this yet?
Mhm.
Whereas like it's a very similar thing in trick shotting where you can infinite fade, where instead of just tapping the reload button, you just hold it down and the bullets won't register at all. So you can just constantly do that forever. Hence infinite fade.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, it's been known, like that sort of thing's been known about like forever, but it's really interesting as people like has only really implemented it now. But yeah, in terms of it being legit, yeah, I don't know. If you presented to me like an argument of why you wanted it to be like legit or whatever, I could probably come up with some way to I don't know, like deny or say that you're wrong, or because of whatever.
Mhm.
Yeah, but in terms of having like a list, because we've been having this discussion for so long now. I think it feels like it's really been dragging out and people are like getting over it sort of. There's just like so many different things that have been brought up, and there's no real way to sort of say, yeah, this is legit or it's not legit. I think it's just how you look at it. But the thing is, like, the way that I look at it is that I've found numerous like posts and that sort of thing. Even one on the Activision page, I've linked this to a couple of people
Mhm.
where people have talked about like getting banned on multiplayer because they've used like a macro to make their gun bypass the RPM, which is the rate. oh, I can't remember what it stands for. Do you guys know what it is?
Rounds per
Just like
minute.
The
the rate of fire.
Yeah, just like the rate of fire, right? Like a
Mhm.
gun isn't meant to shoot that fast. Like if you've got a semi-automatic weapon, like you're meant to pull the trigger and release it. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like there's all these different things with snipers. It's got to bolt back before you can use it again. All this sort of stuff. So yeah, like I think for a while I sort of viewed it as like, dude, it's not really a glitch. It's just like a bunch of button inputs. But when I think most people sort of turned to fast ray being like banned was when for it sort of explained that like, yeah, dude, the guns shouldn't be shooting that fast. You know what I mean? And then I was like, you can kind of come up and have like a bias and whatever and sort of explain different aspects of it to sort of favor your side. But at the end of the day, the gun it just shouldn't shoot that fast. Like that's just it. Um, Double tap is on the map,
Mhm.
on most maps for a reason. It's to make you shoot faster. Like, why would they have that if there were ways of getting around it? So obviously, it's a glitch. Like, it wasn't intended to be a part of the game. It's definitely like an exploit. But yeah, there's like a different ways to view it. I can't really think of them off the top of my head. You'd have to give me like a list of like opinions and stuff, and I could sort of like narrow down and be like, okay, this is why
Okay.
you're thinking this. This is what I think about it, and whatever. But yeah, in just the whole sort of thing, I think yeah, it should be banned because we're not really looking at it like all these records as like speedrun records. We're not. It's just whoever can survive the highest round. Like that's what we're all sort of playing for. Like whereas speedrunning, I guess a lot of like those different communities have different rules and whatever because they sort of make them.
Mhm.
Whereas I sort of play to the Treyarch boards as sort of best I can. Like if you were putting up a round like on the leaderboard, like you would want it so it doesn't get taken down because you're using like an exploit or something. You know, I sort of stick to that mindset of that. I mean, even using FOV and that is a bit touchy, but like all those sorts of things and glitches on maps and whatever. But I'd say fast rate just because of the mechanics of it. It's something that the player can avoid. It's not really like a glitch in the game where you're like say the Kino fire trap where you're within the bounds of the map, right?
Mhm.
The like you're still within the map. The trap can turn off. You can still die. You know, if you leave you just leave your desk or leave your game running. Like anything that can be like the zombies can't kill you. That's just totally out of question. I think that's a glitch. But with those the Kino fire trap, it's more like yeah, they can still kill you to an extent. So, but with the fast rate, I think it comes down to what the player is doing, what they're inputting. And yeah, it's I don't know, it's really hard to explain just here and now, but yeah, that's just my quick thought on it. It just shouldn't shoot as fast as it does, pretty much.
So I think we can all agree, like, yeah, this wasn't like intended by Treyarch, but should it matter if it's intended? Because we're the zombies community, and we kind of determine what is legit and what isn't. And like, I'm sure Treyarch didn't intend when they released World at War Noctur Untoten for people to play the game for like hundreds or like 70 hours to reset on like Black Ops 1 or like 300 hours or something on Noct BO3. Like Treyarch didn't intend that. And
Yeah.
we kind of do what we want with the games. And I think just because Treyarch didn't intend for Faster to be in the game doesn't mean that it shouldn't be allowed. I think just saying that, oh, this wasn't intended isn't a 100% valid argument, if you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah. But
Cause,
yeah, I guess but that's what I was saying before. Like seeing past all of that, like finding on pretty much every single game, you know, within the at least the past 12, maybe 13 years,
mhm,
you just can't like they on what is it, PvP? Like that would be multiplayer.
yeah.
They ban people for doing that.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? So I don't see why that's not translated into zombies when you're doing exactly the same thing. You know what I mean? Just because it's person v person, it doesn't really change much about what it is that you're doing,
I
you
mean,
know?
if you're in multiplayer and you're playing on a public server against other people and you're out here using a macro and shooting faster than you should be, and pretty much everybody else you're playing against isn't able to do the same thing, then yeah, I can understand that. But if we're in our little zombies bubble and we all agree hypothetically as a community that faster is allowed, technically everybody's on the same playing field. And
Mhm.
it would be different from a PvP thing like multiplayer, where some people are going to be using this and it completely breaks the game because other people can't use it. But in zombies, if everybody's able to use it, obviously console's not going to be able to, but console is kind of irrelevant at this point for most of the games that Fast Ray is relevant. But
Mm.
I think battling against an AI is significantly different than fighting against other people. And I think that we should be able to, at this point, use as many optimizations as we can to push a map, because a lot of these maps are getting to the point where it's going to be very difficult to push them from, let's say, like the Moon 222, I think it is, push that up.
Mhm.
If
Yeah.
there's something that's in the game, I mean, it's technically not like in the base game, but if there's something that you can do in your game to push that record even farther, and it's something that's most people can do if they want to, why shouldn't we allow it?
Yeah. Yeah, it just like I said before, it just sort of depends how you look at it. Um, I said before, it's like I still play to sort of how the boards were sort of made. Like, the thing about the whole PvP thing, like you get banned for that. You don't have a say yourself as to whether it's legit or not. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it's you just get taken off the game. Like you're banned. Like you can't do anything about that. So that's sort of how you know that the how it's an intended thing.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas like the leaderboards for zombies, you would know if you get a certain round and you're quite high up on the board. They've had multiple occasions where they've just completely stripped the boards. Like they've removed a ton of people because they were like doing glitches and stuff. So it's yeah, I guess it is like a little bit harder to determine that. Like because they're just not supporting the game anymore. We sort of have to have these discussions and
Mm-hmm.
and sort of give points in that. Um yeah, I don't know. Yeah, like that's just how I play though. That's the thing. I play to sort of how the boards were meant to be represented.
Mm-hmm.
Um yeah, I can't really touch up on more than that. Like if people want to go out and say I got round this round using this, I can completely understand that. If Ferret were to come back and say, upload his 240 and be like, yeah, I got to round two, highest round achieved on Ascension, round 240, and then have like, I use fast rate. I can understand that.
Mm-hmm.
But to have it as the world record, like as the record, it's you shouldn't be able to use like glitches and exploits and that because you're all playing under the same rule set. So for fast rate, yeah, I think this is why it's been so touchy for so long is because everyone has their different sort of views on it
Mm-hmm.
and their own take. It's really hard to narrow down sort of one exact point and be like, yeah, this is why it should absolutely be a banned, or yeah, this is absolutely why it should be allowed. I think there's a lot of contradicting happening whenever you get into a discussion. It's like a loop. Like one person will say, oh, how is it different to, insta kill rounds? Like, oh, the developers didn't intend that, but you're not in control of that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? That happening, that's a part of the game.
Mm-hmm.
Where compared to fast ray, you're the one taking that action. You're the one doing that. You know, you're putting in those inputs. Whereas like insta kill rounds and just certain bugs in the game, that's out of your control. You know what I mean? So I think to really narrow down whether something should be legit or not is to look at it like that. Are you doing the exploit, or is the game sort of like glitching and bugging out? Is it just like a natural thing that you just can't control? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it's difficult to come to a consensus if it should be legit or not because there are valid points on both sides with
Yeah.
pro fast ray and anti fast ray. But here's one point that I think is really big. So I want to ask you a question, both of you guys. Do you think somebody that's using fast ray, do you think using fast ray requires less skill than using the regular ray gun, like the regular shooting speed?
Um, I guess I'll go first. They're both two totally different things, I
Mhm.
think. Most of the time, yeah, like the fast shooting, people call it fast ray because it's normally for the ray gun, right? I'd say it's mainly for like forcing drops. I think it changes the play style.
Mhm.
Um, I think, yeah, it's definitely a lot easier to use because, like, say for Ascension. having my most knowledge on that map. I mean, if you were using that in the power room, you don't want to be using just shooting normal and killing a zombie every like 2 seconds, and then having to try and re-horde. Like you're gonna die pretty quickly. If you're killing the whole horde, it's a lot easier to like horde up. There's just certain situations for different maps, I think, where it's either useful or it's not. Yeah, I can't really say if it's easier or not easier to use, but yeah.
Nick, do you think
Yeah.
it's less skillful to use fast ray?
I don't know. Like to Zama's point, like yeah, you just play like two different ways, and kind of going back to like a multiplayer comparison, like yeah, if you were gonna do that multiplayer, yeah, that's fucking less skill. Like you're essentially cheating, right?
Yeah.
Like you just like you're shooting like the gun so much faster, you're killing the people so much quicker. But like yeah, like in zombies, like you have to like fully switch up like what you're doing, like how you're playing. It's not just like, oh, I'm killing them faster. Like yeah, you are, but there's so much more that goes into it than just killing faster.
I think these like killing faster and all that stuff allows for more skill. Like how I'll explain it is, let's say on the survival maps, for example, the more ray gun you shoot, or the faster you can shoot your ray gun, the faster you're going to be killing zombies. And if you can kill zombies faster, that means you're going to have more zombies spawning in. So just running in a circle, I know you're talking about like you have to optimize how you're running in a circle shooting the ray gun, but running in a circle just shooting the ray gun at the ground isn't incredibly difficult. But once you start having zombies spawning continuously around you, and you have to adapt to these guys spawning and get into a perfect circle again, and like zombies keep dying and respawning, I think that requires skill. And also, if you're shooting your ray gun more, you're going to be running out of ammo faster, and that means that you're going to have to trade more. And obviously, trading is pretty difficult on town compared to just hoarding up and shooting the ray gun. So the faster you can shoot your ray gun, the more ray guns you're going to go through, the more trades you're going to have to go through. And I think it's a weird way to look at it, but the more trading you're doing and the more killing you're doing, I think the more opportunities you have to die in your game, the more clutches you're going to have to do and all that kind of stuff. So I think that kind of adds to it, where fast ray maybe does require more skill at some times, because it completely does change the way you're playing. You trade like 2 or 3 times as much in an hour on town compared to if you're using the regular ray gun. So I think that's 2 or 3 more times that you have an opportunity to die compared to using it. So I think it really does depend on the map, but I think in certain situations, playing faster, using fast ray is going to add a lot more opportunities for you to mess up. So I think, yeah, it may be easier if you're in the power room on Ascension and you're spamming your ray gun, but you might not get a drop there, and you might have to leave the power room earlier. But that was a shitty point. But yeah, I think it really does.
We get what you're saying though. Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
it does
Definitely
require.
depends on the map and just the situation and the strat that you're using.
Yeah, and the interesting thing is, people really don't give a shit at this point. Like, there's plenty of people that are still using fast ray, even though the general consensus of the community at this point, I would say, is fast ray isn't legit, but people still play it. Huge players like Fleur, world record holder of Darice, he's using fast ray. And Niraj, probably one of the best Darice players I've ever seen, one of the fastest players in general, he uses it. And then there's people like you or Furret or Slayer, insanely good players that don't use it. So even if we do come up with some sort of consensus with the community, are people even going to listen to it? Does it matter? Like, it's.
I think honestly, we just gotta start trash talking everyone. We gotta go way back, like the whole multiplayer thing. Like you just get on the mic and just start like screaming and just calling them names, like telling you're gonna come over and like F their mom and stuff. Like you gotta you just gotta tell them that they're like crap for doing that. There's no real other way around it. You know what I mean? If people can do whatever they want,
Mhm.
but yeah, if you're gonna call something the record, yeah, we all got to be doing the same thing for it to be a record. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you be open to having like, you know what they're doing with patches and stuff? They're putting a symbol next to the game on the leaderboard. If somebody's using a patch, if they put some sort of symbol like that on the leaderboard next to your record, like let's say on Furret's game they put like a fast ray symbol next to it showing that he did it, or you think there should be a separate category, or just like altogether it shouldn't be a thing?
I could see a different category being made. Like if the leaderboard sites, whoever's running them now, I haven't checked the leaderboard site in pretty much since ZBC launched, but
Mm-hmm.
I can see, if you want to go and put in a separate category for it, go for it. But if you're gonna talk about it being like the record, yeah, leave it for a different category, I think. But yeah, I would say probably the best thing to do is have a legacy board. So in the past, even for its 240, even I would want to see that probably top of the board instead of
Mm-hmm.
my game. I would say because the thing has like changed. Maybe yeah, put up like a legacy symbol to be like, yeah, this had like a glitch or some sort of exploit that's now been determined that it is what it is. I think that's a really good way to go about it, to give those players who put in the time and effort a bit of cred for
Mm-hmm.
what they did. But going forward, if something is established and you're still doing it, yeah, that's probably something when you start discussing, okay, let's make a different category or something.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
really difficult at this point because we really don't have a consensus. Like we're saying, like, yeah, ZBC came to the conclusion that fast rate is not going to be allowed on their site, but as a community, I don't think we really did, because they put out a poll and I believe people were voting in favor of fast ray, not macro fast ray, but like double bind fast ray. I think that won in the poll,
Yeah.
but I think a bunch of bigger zombie players or the ZBC staff ended up discussing it and deciding against it. So I don't think as a community we really had our representation with that. And there really isn't a community wide decision. So I can't blame somebody right now for playing Fast Ray or for not playing Fast Ray, if that makes sense. Like we
Yeah.
really need to come to a decision. Like, is this allowed or is this not? Because I'm okay with either. Like, I haven't used Fast Ray personally, but I'm okay with it. I think it's a cool addition to the game. But if it wasn't allowed, I wouldn't be angry about it. I just think we need to decide sometime soon, instead of just having this beef in the community between Fast Ray players and non-Fast Ray players, and having all this controversy between games who are using it and who aren't.
That would just never happen, though. I think, kind of to Zomba's point earlier, it's like the only way for that to ever happen would have to be kind of like a Treyarch official thing.
Mm-hmm.
As like, does Treyarch view it as a glitch or not? Because like, yeah, like we're kind of split right now of like, is it a glitch? Is it not a glitch? And then like also like the leaderboard sites don't help because like ZBC doesn't allow it, but
Mm-hmm.
then ZWR does allow it. It's all just like really weird. Like yeah, I think like the only way we would be able to come to a conclusion is like if Treyarch like said something, like even if like ZWR something said like no fast ray, a bunch of people don't upload games to ZWR. They're like, oh fuck ZWR, so they would just keep on using it, and then like some people would even be like, oh yeah, that's world record. Like
Mm-hmm.
even if it was uploaded to ZWR or something. So yeah.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
very split in the community, and I don't know what to do at this point. I think we need to have some more community wide discussions. Like, obviously, we're having a discussion here, and months ago there was discussion about it. But since then, people are still using it and people are still completely against it. So maybe we do need to have more community discussions, because the way it is right now, the zombies community is in a really weird spot with Fast Ray. And I don't think that's beneficial for us as we move forward. Because if we want to improve these records, we need to agree if these records should include something like Fast Ray or not.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Touching up what Nick said, yeah, I don't know. I think it just depends how people view it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, again, the saying before, it's just everything seems to contradict itself. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? There's someone that has one point about it, and then someone will have another point that disowns that, and then someone will have another one that gets disowned. Someone will have another one. It's this constant like cycle. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean?
Yeah.
There's no real answer.
Yeah.
I
Everything
think
has
the
a
way that I sort of
counterpoint.
explained it is sort of maybe the best we're gonna get. I think um, it just, yeah, it just depends
Yeah. I guess that's the
who you
most
ask and what's said.
objective. Yeah. That's the
Yeah,
most objective you can get with it. Like, uh, I mean, I don't know if that's the right way to go about it, but if we want to be objective with Fast Ray, yeah, talking about what Treyarch intended or the multiplayer thing, that is the most concrete answer you can get. But does that answer really matter to a lot of people? I don't know. So it's going to be very difficult to come to a decision if we ever do. So I guess we'll have to keep talking about it. I know this has been a thing and people are probably tired of hearing about Fast Ray, but we're going to keep hearing about it. And I hope that there's some more open discussion instead of like, I like Fast Ray and the other guy's just like, shut the fuck up. I don't care. We should talk about it. We should bring
yeah,
up points and counterpoints. And I know it's like an infinite cycle of shit, but maybe someone can convince me against Fast Ray. And maybe someone can convince Zomba for Fast Ray. Who knows? We're just going to
yeah.
have
That's
to.
yeah, that's the thing. Like in the past, I was for fast ray.
Mm-hmm,
For a good solid maybe month and a half, something like that.
mm-hmm,
Maybe coming up close to two. I don't know. But yeah, I was backing up. I was always in my stream being like, dude, this is why you're wrong. Like I'm laying out the facts.
mm-hmm,
Um, I got into a bit of a couple of heated debates with some people, I guess, over it. But then it's just a matter of opinion. People will give you new pieces of evidence, and then all of a sudden your opinion can change. So a lot of people have been saying like I have a bias or whatever, or I'm just I want the Ascension record or whatever, so that's why I'm just like for it.
mm-hmm,
But again, like even besides that, I'm open to it being changed.
mm-hmm,
If people can convince me otherwise, I'm all for it. I don't mind, but you got to have some sort of concrete proof. I mean, I've tried my best. I think I've talked about it a lot myself. I constantly, because of playing Ascension, I think I get asked about it a lot because of Furt's record, of course.
mm-hmm,
So I think I've had to sort of explain, and I've had almost every possible like discussion about it, like every point being brought up to me, and I've sort of reached my conclusion about it. I've talked to people,
mm-hmm,
and sort of always I'm never gonna call someone dumb or stupid, but there have been a few times where it's just gotten stupid, where people are just refusing to accept it. You know what I mean? Like you can give them the most, like, I don't know, the most concrete piece of evidence, right? And be like, this is what you're talking about, this is why it's not valid, right? And they just try and come up with something to just because they want to have it allowed. But again, even having the Ascension record, I'm still trying to push it because I still see for its game as like that 240
mm-hmm.
being the highest round in my opinion. I still want to pay some respect to that.
Yeah.
So yeah, it comes to that, I think. Yeah, I don't know what else to really say, but yeah,
Yeah, with the 240, obviously the 240 is the better game, and I would say that like if he used faster, I didn't use faster, I think that would still be a 240. But I have accepted like the 233 as record because like they declared fast ray not legit. Like I may be like for fast ray and I think it's fine, and I think the Ascension game really wasn't affected by the health bar or fast ray too much, but just for the principle of fast ray not being allowed and the health bar being allowed, like I respect 233 as a record, if that makes sense.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's fine. All right.
Okay. I think that brings us into our last topic, which is
That's
high
one
round
there.
co-ops. So So this is a pretty interesting topic because high round co-ops, like this isn't something you've seen anywhere else besides the zombies community. People stay up for like 24 hours or more at a time, then sleep for like a couple hours and come back and play for another 24 hours just to get a world record. And that is not healthy, I would
Not
say.
ideal. Yeah.
It's insane. But um do you think pausing in co-op, like if they, I know they found a way to do it in Winter Wonderland, but if they could find a way to do pausing in co-op, do you think that's a good way to go?
Um, if it's a part of the game, then yeah, sure, why not?
'Cause
Um, I don't know if it's an exploit that you're like you have to change some bit of code to get there to do that, then like of course not. That's no sense. Like that's obviously not going to be a legit game. But yeah, I don't know. There's not really. I don't think there's really much to talk about that in terms of that being like legit.
mhm.
If it's legit, it's legit. If it's not, it's not. Like that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, I just think that with the co-ops right now, it's more of, obviously there's skill involved, but it's more of a battle of who can stay up the longest, who has more time to play in a row, who can go the longest without having to sleep and all that stuff, instead of who is going to play the fastest and optimize the strat. Like it's mostly about playing as much as you can and as fast as you can in this set like 70 hours or so, instead of, all right, I'm going to play a couple hours per day and I'm going to be able to play to the best of my ability. And I don't have to worry about being sleep deprived or like
Yeah.
wasting 2, 3 full days of my life. I think that these obviously the records would be pushed like a lot by being able to pause and not have to do sleepers and stuff. But I just think that it would make them more competitive, more accessible to anybody in the community, and just make them more skill based instead of just being like who can stay up the longest.
Yeah. I think that's what makes a record a record. It's being able to do what you can with the challenge that's presented to you,
Mm-hmm.
whatever that may be. So yeah,
Because
I agree totally.
I would love to play co-ops, but I do not have time to play like even like more than 5 hours a day. Like I can't do that. I would have no chance. I would reset with whoever I was playing after playing maybe like 15 hours, 20 hours in game time, and that's nothing. Like you can't get anywhere with that. So
Mhm.
I don't know, maybe like I think that's actually an interesting category. Like if they found some sort of exploit that allowed you to pause, what if they had another category for co-ops with pausing? Like I think that would make sense to split it, because you can't really compare a game where like there's sleepers and a game where there's pausing. I think that would be an interesting category to have.
Yeah. But at the same time, I can sort of see a lot of the wow factor being taken from just how co-ops now, because
Mm-hmm.
you have to sort of battle against like the whole sleep deprivation thing and
Mm-hmm.
trying to, fit in like eating and taking a crap and whatever, the real world situation. I think it takes a lot of that out of it. And it just doesn't become the same. It's just like a totally different thing at that point. I think if someone gets like 200 co-op because they were able to pause, they people are gonna see like maybe Slayer and Ferret's Kino game. I don't know, what did they get? It was like 170 something.
Like 173 or something like that.
Whatever it was. Yeah. They're gonna be like, oh well, such a much lower round. It can be totally improved and whatever. I think a lot of people are gonna probably have that mindset.
Yeah.
And it's just gonna be like, yeah, those co-op records are like now just whatever. Like, who would do those?
Mm-hmm.
I think it's gonna lose a lot of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, again, with like going for the records, I think it's about being, trying to work with what's being presented to you. If you gotta, dude, I've right now, if I were to go and play a co-op, I wouldn't have enough time. I got work. I
Yeah.
have to, in the past as well, I have to take time off of work to do those co-ops. You know, you have to fit your real life situation around it. If you can play, you know, awesome. If you can't, unfortunately, that's a part of life. You know. Um, so yeah, that's what the records are, I guess.
Yeah, it's definitely impressive. Like I can't understand how Furret and Slayer did that in their Kino game. How they stay up for so long and play such a like scuffed strat for so many hours. Like I'm lost for words. It's insane. It's impressive, but
Yeah.
like God, that cannot be good for you staying up that long and just like staring at a screen and not being able to go anywhere. Like
Yeah, I can say firsthand. I've told this story many, many times, I feel like now, but I'll touch it up again for the viewers on here. When I did my 160 game
mhm,
with Eggman on Ascension, that really, really pushed my limits. I was like sitting here now, how I am.
mhm,
I think it was about 157, 158 we were on. I was trading, and all of a sudden, I just started feeling like total crap. I couldn't keep down my food. I had to, while I was trading, stop, race to the laundry, bring back a bucket, and keep playing while I was spewing. So
ooh,
like we were really like pushing it because we were so close to instas. I was like, I'm not giving up. I'm like going all out. Like we spent so much time trying to get there.
mhm.
um, so yeah, yeah, it's not good for you. I do not recommend it, but if you think you can do it, that's awesome. It's definitely an experience. I think once you do that, you actually learn a lot. Um, and also about like diet and stuff. Like Eggman told me, he was like, dude, you gotta eat like you gotta drink a lot of water because like you know I drink a lot of like Coke and soft
Mhm.
drink and that. He's like, dude, you're gonna use up too much sugar. Like your body's gonna use up that sugar. You're gonna burn yourself out too quick. I'm like, yeah, that's really smart. Water's the way to go. So we start doing that, and then you know what you eat is important. You can't eat too much because if you eat too much, you're gonna get really tired.
Mhm.
You know, your body's gonna use too much to process that food. So you got to sort of snack. Um, yeah, and that sort of thing. So you learn a lot, I think, and also about like if you're in a co-op, you learn a lot about your partner. You're gonna say like people do the weirdest stuff when they're sleep deprived because it's like being drunk.
Mhm.
I don't know if you guys have probably heard it's like that. There's a lot of ads on about like driving while drunk. Like
Yeah.
if even if you're tired, like you got to pull over and like take a nap because it's like being drunk. You know, so when you're in the feel like you're drunk for that many hours, you know, past that sort of like 30-hour mark, it's like weird stuff is said. It's really funny. So it's definitely like an experience, you know. So I would recommend doing it maybe once and then that's it. Don't do it again.
Dude, they're so entertaining to watch though. Like watching one of these high round co-ops is just crazy. Like I'll be doing my life and then I'll go to sleep and I'll wake up and I'll see they're still playing. And then I'll do
Yeah.
some homework. I'll come back. They're still playing. I'll go to bed again. They're still playing. It's insane. Like Nick, have you had the time to watch any of the BO1 co-ops?
No, yeah, I've watched a lot of Ferg's co-op. Like I watched that one with Slayer.
Mhm.
I watched one he did on Call Dead a few months back. I
Oh
forgot who he
yeah.
did it with, but like, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, no, like it is like super weird seeing like 39-hour uptime and like if you like go back like in their VOD, they're like not at their stream for like 2 or 3 hours of like the 39. It's actually insane.
Mm.
It's very interesting. Like I wonder how like if casuals in the community know anything about it. Like if I asked like for example Noah J or like Lex. Obviously, I mean they're big content creators, but do they know that there's BO1 players out here like not sleeping for 30 hours, then sleeping for 2 hours, then playing for another
I think
30?
Lex does, like for sure,
Yeah.
because like Lex had interest in like doing a Call of Dead co-op with MC.
Really?
I know, yeah, yeah. I don't know if like he ever like brought it up to MC, but like I overheard him once, like when
Mhm.
he was just like talking like chat. He was like, "Oh yeah, like I want to like do like one of these like long games, but like none of the actual YouTubers would want to play it, so I'd play it with like someone like MC."
I don't
I
think
don't know.
he could handle that, to be honest. I know MC could, but I doubt Lex could handle that shit, man.
Could MC
It's
handle
like
like 40
10
hours of
hours.
Lex?
Nah, time to quit. Intentionally down to end the game. I wonder how many like co-ops over the years have been like have just ended because the other person doesn't want to play anymore. They're like, "Oh, dude, sorry, I kept downing. I guess I'm tired." Like, they're just like, "Oh, bad RNG, time to quit." You know, they just come up with something.
I mean, I can't blame you. Like, if you're sleep deprived and like you probably like if you go to sleep and then wake up the next morning, you're gonna regret quitting out. But like in that moment when you're sleep deprived and the only thing you can think about is go laying in bed and just sleeping, like I can't blame you for like going insane and just wanting to get out of there and make any excuse possible. But
Yeah.
that when you put in that much time into a game and then the other person just wants to quit like that, I'm sure that could be very
It's gutting. I've had to deal with that a few times. It's yeah, it's really gutting. You just have to say all you can do is really just say, dude, just keep going. Like you've put in, 20, 30 hours or however long you've done, the game's going smooth, it's going well. You just gotta do it.
mm-hmm.
Just don't think about it. You just sit there and you play. Like just don't think about it, That's all you can really do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
Which one
assuming
was like the worst for you? Like just mentally and everything? Like was like your Ascension 160? Was it your Reese world record?
Oh, I'd say the Ascension one.
mhm,
Just because on our Reese record, we had a lot of sleep because we didn't intend to actually go for instas on that game.
mhm,
We were just playing it because we were sick of Ascension. Like we already had the 160 that was tied with Cap and John at the time.
mhm,
So we were like, whatever, let's just do something else. Let's mix it up. So we wanted to race for a little bit and we were like, yep, we were pretty confident, we can play out a game for record. The record wasn't too high with Oxys and Kashals. So
mhm,
yeah, we did that and got what we got, I guess. So we just took like a lot of sleep. I know towards the end, Eggy was like totally out of it. He was struggling.
mhm,
That was one of the worst games I've probably seen him play towards the end, whereas the Ascension one was probably my worst because of hence what I talked about before. Wasn't really good at the time, but when I saw that we were getting like really high on our Doris and
mhm,
yeah, I was getting like more and more motivated.
mhm,
Actually, I was like more awake. I was like, dude, like, yeah, let's keep going. Let's push it. Like, let's have less sleep and less breaks from that point on. I think it was like in the 140s where I was like, dude, we could almost get instas if we really try. So
mhm.
yeah, since then, yeah, it actually got easier.
Really?
But yeah, the
That's
Ascension one was definitely hard. Yeah,
how close were you to reset on Reese? Because I know you guys died on 154, I think it was.
I think we
Um,
still had another. It was like another couple hours.
mhm.
I had a piece of paper with everything still on there. I thought it was still there. But yeah, I think we had maybe 7, maybe 8 hours left to
Oh,
reset.
uh, I mean,
So yeah,
Derice is pretty consistent with because it's just KJ, I think, with 2P.
yeah, we were just running KJ and then trading like how people.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, with our own mix on it, it was a lot safer, a
Mm,
little bit slower, but it got us there. But yeah, yeah, I don't think we were gonna make instas that game because again we had like way too much sleep and way too much break. But if we just
mm-hmm.
kept playing and didn't down, with maybe the normal amount of sleep, we definitely could have pushed like 166 plus, probably.
Running the same strat that you were running.
Yeah.
So, I saw that Slayer and Cap they had a game on 2P Reese, but they were running. I think they were playing more risky and fast and stuff. What was the difference between what you were running and what they were running?
We were just running KJ like the whole game.
Okay.
Um, Also, that time difference, probably to 100, I'd say, as well. Like I think we had really, really bad luck with drops and dogs to like
Mm-hmm.
80 or something like that. Our run to 100 was trash, like
Mm-hmm.
trash. Yeah, we had like really long trades to begin with and stuff. So yeah, bad RNG to the start of the game as well, so that's a lot of our time loss. But yeah, the rest of it, yeah, we were just running KJ, and that's just probably the slowest strat on the map now, I'd say.
Yeah. Eh,
Yeah, they were just running trade strat, so just spamming that WAF, grabbing a new one, spamming that again. You're going to be killing pretty quick, so you're going to make up a lot of time.
mhm,
I played recently with Jammy, but we disconnected. We were going to go for a 175 plus because we definitely knew we could do it. In
mhm,
that game, that was going like so smoothly. It was going perfectly. We were like, yeah, we just got in the game. We both knew because we both have a 132 together, I think. 130, yeah, I think it's 132 we have together already playing on that map. We got that before I was playing with Eggy.
mhm.
And our time was almost matched with Kayas and Kayas, Slayers and Cap.
Really? What
Um,
running KJ, I would assume?
no, running so me and Jamie were running trade strat and doing it our way. Slayer and Cap did it a little bit differently. I think they were hitting the traps more, but they were
Yeah, I think I heard them
I
saying they
think
were
they
running
lost a
trip dip.
little bit. Yeah, trip dip. Yeah, we didn't run trip dip in our game, so that's probably why we were like a tiny bit slower. But yeah, we were like pretty matched though to 130, I think. But
Interesting.
yeah, yeah, 154. I'm still pretty proud of the game.
Yeah,
I always getting a record is still cool. You know, either
yeah,
way. So yeah.
yeah. And I mean, it's been standing for a good bit of time. I remember when you guys played it. Has it been a year
Oh yeah.
yet, or how long has it been?
It'd be. I don't know. I don't know how long it's been. It's been a while, but there's still. I remember getting that record, and then there were so many. It was right when the whole COVID thing started, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's when went into lockdown. Everyone had time to play. There were so many teams playing. Like it was insane. It was like the Swan and Afterburner game happened. They thought they were gonna get it. They were slower than us in the end because of all the mistakes they were making and stuff. That's not me talking trash, by the way. I'm just saying like there've been so many people that say like, oh, that record is like so easily beatable. But the thing with co-ops is like again, like the whole sleep thing and trying to play well, it's really difficult to do. You can be like the fastest player, but if you can't battle that and battle like all the challenges that co-ops bring, like you're just not going to get there. So yeah, there's been a lot of people who have tried for it still. If anyone wants to go there, I don't know. I should probably make a thing on Twitter, like from I don't know in 6 months. I don't know something. I'll chuck someone a bit of cash if they beat it, just to make things interesting. Just see how real confident people are about it.
Derice co-op gauntlet.
Mm.
Nick, do you think you could ever play out not necessarily Reese, it could be anything, but would you play a long co-op game? Do you think you could, or would you ever want to?
Uh-uh.
No?
Uh-uh. No, I can never. No.
What's the longest you
I'm
think you would
someone that
play?
like I need sleep. Long as I do, I'm probably like you. Like I can play like 6 to 8 hours straight.
Mm-hmm.
But like after that, I'm just like, ugh, get me out of here.
Yeah,
Get me out of the game.
I enjoy playing co-op. Like I've never done anything extreme, but back when me and Ethan used to be pretty close, we played Ascension 2P. On our first try, we got around 66 with some like garbage monkeys. We had like two 4 rounders that whole game, and our first T gun was like 150 box hits. But we spent like 7 hours playing and got it was pretty slow, but we got 66 our first try, and I was loving it. Like I was enjoying every second of it, and I would have loved to have been able to keep playing, but at that point I didn't know anything about Sleeper. I didn't know how to run it, so we kind of just quit out at 66. And then we went for it again, and we did Sleeper on 55 because like we didn't have that much time to play. And then we ended up disconnecting that night. We weren't on B Gamer, so it was a little bit scuffed. But I would love to go for a co-op. I just don't think I'm ever gonna have the time. And also, if I played more than like 5 hours in a row, my girlfriend would murder me. So that's also not an option.
Yeah, yeah, definitely the first day is definitely the most fun because
Yeah.
you're getting into it. You've probably because the thing with co-ops is you have to plan them out. You can't just there's very, very rarely do people just get in and just start playing. Like you've got to get up early in the morning, like if you want to, push for a record, right? Like you gotta have your days planned out, all your sleep breaks and what you're doing, right? So I think when you're in that mindset on the first day, you're confident because you've got that plan. You probably know what you're doing, so it all seems a bit smoother.
Mm-hmm.
But when you get into the late hours of the second day, that's when it hurts the most, even probably more than the third day, because the second day you're thinking, this is hell, get me out of here. And then you have the realization, oh, I need to do another day of this.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's having that there just constantly being like, I've got so much longer to do and this is hell. Like but the first day's fine, I think. I always enjoy the first day, always when I play co-ops.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely the funnest. Yeah.
Yeah, I would see that like the first day you're getting into it, you're having fun. The last day you're like, all right, I'm close to the end. I need to keep pushing. But in that middle, you're probably not very motivated to play. You're like, shit, I still have like 30 hours I have to play, whatever. Like I'm so tired. The rounds are progressing so slow at this point already. I can't even imagine how it's gonna feel later on. Like
Yeah.
I don't even know how you guys do it, man. I don't know. But
Yeah.
what do you think is the most skillful 2P record in BO1? Like out of all the 2P records that you know, what do you think is the most skillful?
I don't know. It's got to be out of Ferret's games,
Mm-hmm.
probably. I don't know.
Kind
Skillful. Out of any
Kino.
record.
I mean, Kino seems kind of difficult. Like being the fire trap horde is relatively difficult, I would say. Like, I mean, obviously I'm not a world record player, but it's still like you can die really easily in the fire trap room. And doing that for 70 hours and having to like force out and merge with the second player and
Yeah, you
what
got the blue player doesn't have any safety weapons. Like you got no
yeah.
bow,
And
no
no
knives.
Novas, so no pack-a-punch T-gun, so you barely have any ammo, and yeah, no pack-a-punch bow. So, like, that's insane. Like, conserving your T-gun ammo for that long and getting instas, and I think that, in my opinion, is probably one of the most impressive co-ops, but what do you think, Zomba?
Yeah, I'd probably say the Kino. Yeah, for
Nick?
sure.
Mm,
Nick.
I don't know. uh, yeah, probably the Kino.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's Kino is definitely just a map with pure skill, I would say in general. Like yeah, there's missed insta RNG and dog RNG, all that kind of stuff, but Kino is relatively straightforward and I would say it's one of those maps that's pretty much all skill. There's not an incredible amount of RNG like Ascension or something else like that. No trade RNG or anything like that. Yeah, I really enjoy Kino, and I think it's a pretty solid high round map.
Yeah.
All right. One
All
last
right.
question though. Do you have
Bonus.
any plans to play any 2P games in the future? Like you gonna go for that Reese again? Any other maps you plan on playing?
Yeah, it's like what I said before. I played with Jammy, I think it was like only like 2 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was 2 weeks ago. I played with him. We were planning to go to 175, but unfortunately he lagged out.
Mm-hmm.
Aussie internet, it's not the most reliable thing in the world. It sucks, but yeah, Darius is definitely pushable by a lot. I have a lot of knowledge of the map, so I did hit up Jammy again. It was 2 days ago actually, but he unfortunately declined. So I think I'll play with Eggman again. I think we can definitely do a lot better. We stopped playing co-ops because for a really really long time we were doing them and we
Mm-hmm.
just got burnt out. Even like talking to the same person for too long. Like if you're exposed to, if you don't have too much alone time, it's annoying. If you're constantly like messaging someone and whatever. So we just had a bit of space and time apart. I was doing my Ascension stuff. He went off. He was doing like BO3 and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I spoke to him the other day on Discord after a while. And yeah, I think he wants to play Doris again. So I got to touch up with him. I asked to talk to him yesterday, but I got carried away with stuff. So yeah, we'll probably play Doris again. And we'll do like trade strat a lot better. Now that I've had experience doing triple trap, I think it'll be a lot of a smoother transition because when we played that Doris game, we were both learning it at the same time. But I think I've had it like even playing it solo, like trading in that, I've learned a lot
Yeah.
since our last game. So I think it'll be a lot of a smoother game if we play. So I can teach him a lot, and we can play a lot faster and hopefully get a bit of better RNG. Our trades weren't too good that game either. We tend to have a lot of bad luck when it comes to co-ops. It's an unfortunate thing, but
Yeah.
yeah, hopefully this game, if we do end up playing it again, it'll be a lot better. I think we can maybe push a 170. I'd hope actually. That'd be pretty cool to see.
Yeah.
I was playing a little while ago with Kai. He's my newfound recruit, I guess you could say, right? He's new to the co-op game. He's we had like a 140 or something like that we quit out of. He was busy at the time, so yeah, that happened. But yeah, I think I still want instas on Ascension, even though we can't get record because they're like again, Ferret Cap had a pretty insane game too. And especially with the lack of sleep that they had.
Yeah.
Like if we were to play, we'd have to have better RNG and have less sleep. So record is sort of off the table, but yeah, I think we can still play a pretty impressive game. If I get the time, I can have another crack at it. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah. Ferret's
Anything
just a different
else?
breed, dude.
Yeah, dude's crazy solo and co-op. Like, and he's got his new girlfriend on the way to do some co-ops too. I hear.
Dude, I
He
saw
told
it. Did his
dude,
girlfriend get him that bracelet?
yeah, I think so. Yeah. Yeah,
Damn.
it's over,
Okay.
dude. We're all the records are gonna be beaten. I gotta start playing with some French people, man, and start taking some other maps.
Dude, how's
Otherwise,
the
he's
ping? Is it bad?
the thing is like with Americans, for me, it's actually okay. I just get like reload delay, and when I like shoot the zombies, there's a tiny bit of delay. It's actually bearable. But like Europe is a bit further away from me, so that's actually quite bad. So yeah, I think the best I can do is probably American players.
Okay.
But yeah,
Interesting.
for co-ops, I'd probably say it's Doris and Ascension, and then anything after that, I'm still open to play co-ops. You know, I have a ton of leave at work from doing my overnights. I used up all my leave for the COVID lockdown thing. I had to take my leave and all my sick leave. So when I came back and did overnights, I made that all up. So I can do co-ops pretty much whenever I want again.
Dude, I'm
So
excited to
yeah,
see it. I'll definitely be in chat hanging out. I mean, they're really entertaining to watch, and now that I have a better understanding of the game compared to I did a few months ago or even last year, I think it'll be even more interesting to watch and just be able to see all these little things that you guys are doing in the co-op games, just further my knowledge of the map and just be in awe of how insane these co-ops are. So I'm really excited to see these, man. Definitely.
yeah. I can't say the same that I'm like excited to play it. It's a good idea in theory, but once you get in there, you're like, why?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah,
After you get the world record or whatever, the PB,
after you get it, it's like,
that's
oh,
great.
yeah. Even that 160 game that I did with Eggy, like I put in my all that game. You know, I really pushed all the way to the end. You know, even though that's not the record anymore, I'm still really proud of it because I gave that my all, and it's they're really difficult to do.
Yeah, I've never heard of anybody puking and playing zombies at the same time. That's a pretty impressive Zomba.
Mm.
All
Yeah.
right. I think that's gonna wrap up today's podcast. Nick, you wanna hit us up with a little outro?
Yeah, I will. Said it at the beginning, but once again, go check out all of Zomba's links. That they'll be at the top of the description. Also, make sure to check out Mike and myself as well as our podcast on all listening platforms. And yeah, that'll do it.
All right.
Yes, it's been awesome. Thanks, guys.
Thank
Happy
you for
to
coming on, Zomba.
Thank you,
No problem.
Zomba. It was really good to hear all your opinions and like perspectives on this stuff. So appreciate it, my guy. And good luck with all the future high round games and co-ops and everything, man.
Thanks. I'm gonna need
Oh,
it.
All right, boys. Thanks everybody once again, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.